So the perimeter can be considered the length of this object all the way around the edge of it. So for example, if we start at A, we move to B. Imagine we were stood at A and this was perhaps like a map. We travel to B, and we travel then from B, we decide to take a little route to C. Finally, we go all the way around this object like so, continue from E to F, and then we finally get back to A. And so I'm going to say that we went from left round to right. That's what I'm going to suggest. So I say from left to right, let us go around the shape. I've just done that, and we're going to call the perimeter P. P is equal to x plus y, so x plus this length is y, because it's equal to this length here, x plus y, plus CDE, again going round, plus y again, and finally plus x. And so therefore I can say P is equal to x plus y plus CDE plus y plus x if you want to travel around the object. We can simplify this down quite considerably by just saying, well, there are two x's. It was x plus y plus CDE plus y plus x, so it would be two x's. And also there are two y's, so it's 2x plus 2y, and then we have this CDE part. That's what we have therefore. Now, given that concept, given that, we can suggest that we have P is equal to 2x plus 2y plus half the circumference of a circle. That's what you can say. Plus half the circumference of a circle. Now, this CDE, being half the circumference of the circle, we can utilize 2 pi r. So we have 2 pi r in there. And 2 pi r divided by 2 is necessary because we only want half of it. So that's why that division by 2 is in that formula there. Finally, the radius, this r, we know is x over 2 as I described in the beginning. As you can see here, since this length is x, therefore this is x over 2. So I can then substitute that in, and I can have 2 pi r over 2. The 2's will cancel at one point. But before we do that, I'm going to put this r and substitute it for x over 2. So here you have r in there, and r has been switched for x over 2 because that's the radius of our circle or semicircle. And in these situations, these two multiply to get 4. 2 divided by 4 is the same as 1/2. So we have pi over x over 2 here. Next, this section here I have just moved to the front, moved slightly forward. I've kept 2x where it is, and we have this 2y. But I'm going to substitute y out. Why? Because remember that it has been given y is equal to 50 over x minus x over 8 factorized out of pi plus 2 root 3. So why not us, therefore, we can remove this y or substitute it for the equation. So what I've therefore done is I've said I'm going to take only the y subpart, keep that 2, and I'm going to switch it with what we've been given, which is this 50 over x minus x over 8 pi plus 2 root 3. And so what I can do from there is I'm going to multiply out the 2. I'm going to multiply out the 2 in multiple ways. I have to do it for this one first, and then from there I will do it for this, and this will allow us to have 2 times 50, which is 100 over x, 2 times x, which is 2x over 8 there. And so now we're at this stage. Now notice that we have this pi plus 2 root 3. So again, I can do the same thing here. I can then multiply the 2x by the pi and multiply the 2x, and this is 2x over 8 by the pi, and the 2x over 8 by the 2 root 3. And first of all, if I were to, before I do that, you can see just where I've come from here. I've kept my 2x in that position. I've kept my pi x over 2. I've kept my 100 over x. But 2 divided by 8 is the same as 1/4. So, or 2 divided by 8 is the same as 1 over 4. So I've simplified that before I multiply it out. And notice the multiplication out. So I then move on to this x over 4 times pi, which is pi x over 4. And finally x over 4 times 2 root 3, which is 2 root 3 x over 4. And so now we're in this final position, or this position for the end of this part of the conversation. And we can now look at how we can simplify it down such that we should end up with the equation that they desire.